I'll adjust.
Pause. Full screen? Where's full screen?
Yell at it.
Oh, wait, and maybe I need to touch it.
No.
Because usually that side stuff. Oh, can you X out of that side stuff? Oh, I see you. I saw you for a second.
Okay, but also.
Oh my God. How does she know how to do that? Magic. Because she's a lifelong learner.
Yeah. L.
I'm about to be a lifelong learner too. I'm sorry.
I think you've already been.
Maybe so. All right, so I have.
A chair that doesn't go down.
It
Does it go down?
does, I think. You know what? We could spend this whole time
Adjusting
learning,
all
just
of
watching you. No, I was going to get a kick out of it. Let me go get some
I love what my
popcorn.
face does when I'm trying to adjust things, so I'm sure that's entertaining.
You're thinking with your eyes.
Yeah, and my ear, like all of my whole thing, like Jim carrying my way through.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love it. So while you're adjusting, I'm going to read what I wrote from an article, 2 articles, but the first one, basically what lifelong learning and approach to learning, whether in personal or professional content, it's continuous and it's self-motivated throughout life. So, and we can totally go off on a different tangent, but like facing away. She's changing her bra, everyone. No, I'm kidding. So, why do we need it?
Opinions?
I have some stuff,
Opinions
but
or science? Because I don't have science.
okay.
I have opinions.
Okay. Let's hear. Do you want to read 5 benefits first, or do you want to
Like sanity check me? Because I think I know.
Okay.
So I think being curious and seeking out learning continues to grow your brain. A bunch of science words. And helps stave off Alzheimer's and dementia.
Did I? Oh my God, that's it. I think I even wrote the word stave somewhere.
Stave.
Now
I promise I didn't read your notes.
Oh no, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's right on it.
Okay. And I think that there's a happiness or a joy quotient to it too. Like by seeking out learning, you're building joy, like true joy in your heart that radiates, as opposed to like seeking pleasure.
I agree. And I forget what I was going to say.
I just changed my Instagram handle to Radiachel.
No way! Oh my gosh!
You said radiates, so that's how that thread started.
Okay, so tell us what the benefits are.
The 5 well, I'll get into this stuff after, but so the 5 benefits are: it helps us succeed at our jobs. It helps our brains stay healthy. It helps us stay connected with whatever we want to stay connected with. Helps us stay fulfilled, and it's easier than ever to engage in lifelong learning.
Yeah,
because
absolutely
we can just get to it.
Yeah, but we can Google it.
Right.
Or like there's also platforms, right? So like we have masterclass and we watch masterclass a week, or we have Wondrum great courses, which is like college lectures that are just on demand, and you can watch like leading up to the Italy trip. Braden and I watched a semester on Pompeii. We watched a semester on Leonardo da Vinci. So like the information is out there.
Us to grab
in a way
Very
that
cool.
It's never been before.
Thank goodness.
Yep.
I love it.
Well, and even with our yoga stuff, right? The ability to dive into teacher training and philosophy training online, makes it so much easier than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When you had to find a community and find a class and drive to it.
And you can fit it into your schedule.
Wherever it fits. Yep.
Which I kind of like better, because you get little increments of it that can retain a little bit more than like some bulk lecture, and you're like, oh my God, I got my pen.
You can also rewatch it.
Yes.
Like, I'll watch it in chunks of 15 minutes, and if I don't really feel like I got that last 15 minutes, I'll just restart
Do you ever have like a delay though, and you're like, I already committed to spending time to listen to this thing, so it's like on to the next. And then, do you ever have like I already listened to it. Did you break? It sounds like you broke through that if you did have it, but I have that. It's like this weird thing I had. It started in college where it's like
check. I already checked that off.
yeah,
my
like
list.
lightning speed,
Oh.
and I found that that pattern applied to my regular content consumption lifestyle. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can see
It's
that.
weird.
But I think it's tied to this mentality that we Westerners have around, I need to do that, check. I need to do that, check. And it's shifting the focus on, I want to build the education. I want to know how this works. And like, then it's the check-in. Like, did I really get it from that, or do I need to watch it again?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or the other question is this the right content for me? Like,
Right.
maybe I need to find somewhere else where they're presenting it in a different manner.
Right, like if it didn't catch my attention. My thing is my attention, it'll like if it sinks in or not, you know, like
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I know what you
if I spent like an hour listening but not like listening in cursive and italic and bold. Like
Yes.
Well, I also find that it matters when I listen. Because if I try to listen while I'm doing other things that are grabbing my attention, then it's just background noise and I don't absorb. What works for me is first thing in the morning when I do my morning walk. That's when I listen to my educational content and I focus on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me too. It's like when I'm doing something meditative.
Yes.
Like if I'm planting or walking or like painting or doing a craft. It's like or creating something. It's like that's when I'm in a meditative state because it's like almost repetitive motion and occasional loops of like innovation where I break in the. But yeah, my like psyche is mostly in calm waters.
Yeah,
and that's when it usually sinks in.
And I think that's different for everybody, right? We all have to identify like when's the right time to learn.
Yeah, that makes me want to bold a topic on meditation today, like just a little subtopic on meditation, but slash what your practice is for yourself. It's what is your self. I'm trying to dodge around trendy buzzwords, and all of them are coming to mind. Like literally all of them. It's like, what's your self-care? What's your spiritual practice? What's your ritual? Literally all of those things. If there was like a better word that's simpler. But anyway,
I actually love the word ritual, even though it's been hijacked. So I think
it makes my bones feel good.
Yeah, I think it's
Reclaim it.
Yeah, they reclaim it because it's such a great word, and it's
that went to the magnetic field.
I think it's just something that helps us so much, right?
Ritual.
Having a ritual, having a routine,
because it's yours.
Yeah,
it's your special thing that you own that works for you, and you don't do it like anyone else, and you can't do it like anyone else. But like you find it becomes a ritual. It's routine, and it becomes a ritual once it works. It makes you feel good, and you've had like a clear elevation of your spirit or whatever, of like you feel like uplifted by it. That's what I think anyway, because when I know the difference is when I fall from mine is when I start feeling like gray. I want to say gray because I like sag down and my whole face, like the light like comes out of it, and I feel like I just sort of like, and like my skin sags more, and you know, and I feel like dehydrated, but from like my soul level, you know, it's like, so I feel like whenever I get in, that's how I know it's become a ritual where it's like, I know I can't miss this because it feels like my elixir, my little self elixir.
I listened to a great podcast the other morning, and I can't, right off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was, but they were talking about like how to manage hard things, and they really spent a lot of time talking about how we need to normalize the good and the bad times, because there's this expectation that if I'm doing yoga, if I'm learning, if I'm working out, if I'm eating healthy, then I'm just always going to be happy, and that's not real. Like, even when you're doing everything right, there are ebbs and flows and valleys, and you know, like sometimes things are great and sometimes things really suck, and we need to accept that the suck time is coming, and be so that we're better able to cope with it, as opposed to feeling like everything's falling apart.
Right. It's an ebb that will turn into a flow.
Right. Yeah.
It always does.
It always does. And that doesn't make it any less hard to go through it.
But you can definitely stretch it out. Speaking from experience, you can definitely stretch out your ebbs if you don't believe there's a flow ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
Bars.
Well, and she talked about, they were talking about the value of having lots of different friends of lots of different ages. And it was a woman and a man talking, and the man said, yeah, I had this elderly neighbor that I considered a friend, and we talked all the time. And he said something about, like, you know, we were going through a really hard time at my house. And I was like, I don't like this. This is like, I want to just do regular things. I don't want to worry about these big things. And he asked the older lady, like, have you ever experienced this? And she was like, yeah, there were 5 years that were horrible 5 years. And then they got better.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a neat conversation around, like, sometimes the bad times take a while to go away, and it's still going to be okay.
Yeah. Oh. Punctuate that period.
And we're done. No.
Mic drop. Goodbye.
Take that.
Good morning.
It was How to Be a Better Human. That was the name of the podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, liking that.
Yeah.
Liking that. Cool.
And it was what's today? The 18th? I think it was the June 16th episode, maybe June 17th episode.
Well, we're still on self-care practices or rituals. I want to say that mine is like a tie-dye tapestry because I go through little patterns of like but overall that cycle that I've painted has created a ring of my tie-dye. So it's kind of like me cycling through different morning styles is part of my thing. And I'm starting to accept that instead of being like, I have to be consistent in this one thing because this one teacher says consistency is key here, or, you know.
But is the consistency just that you're doing a ritual?
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be the same ritual.
That's what I'm learning. It's like I'm coming around to that understanding. And I just wanted to say that for me, what's solidified its efficacy, I guess, the ritual's efficacy, is that I've made it mine by doing this very hard thing, which is giving myself compassion when I don't uphold that one of those false standards that's implanted in my psyche. Like, because I still recognize that those structures still hold in the way that my brain works, right? Like, those structures are still part of how I function. So as I dismantle them, I do it with grace and acceptance of like, my body feels so addicted to the feeling of failing and beating myself up for the failure and then getting up again. There's a kink in my cycle of self-building, right? So it's like, the more I acknowledge that kink is coming, that feeling of I failed and beating myself up, the feeling, it's almost like nausea where I'm getting it mentally under control instead of letting it be just physical. I feel it. I feel the chemicals building, the drugs in my body, like of my brain, the chemicals of our brain produces chemicals. So it's like a drug factory in our brains, like our pharmacy brain, right?
Yeah.
That's a Joe Dispenza thing, I think, is his analogy. So my pharmacy starts making up the chemicals to get ready for me to start self-loathing. And I feel it like nausea, and it's like, ooh, I can relax into this feeling. I'm not going to try to avoid it. Every time I've been like, run now, that's where the kink starts.
Yeah.
Because I don't relax into what's moving through me, which is a set of sensations based on when I allow the thoughts to repeat, right?
It's so interesting because when I was dealing with my migraines, I came across not Joe Dispenza, but it was similar advice around when I would feel the initial feeling of like, I know a migraine's coming, I would immediately tense up and my whole body would tense up. And then it would just it was like this self-fulfilling prophecy. I would end up really hurt and really sick. And the advice I got was to relax into the safety. And like, it was an active effort to tell my brain, thank you. I know you're trying to protect me, but I don't need to be protected right now. We've got this. And so what I would do, ritual, is the minute I felt that feeling, I would lay down on the ground and use my little pillow that tilts my neck back. And I would just breathe and I would tell myself, we are okay. You don't need to protect me. You don't need to send the pain. And over time, medicine if I needed it. But over time, I needed the real medicine less and less and less.
Right. I think that's the beauty of the bridge between the two worlds.
Yep.
I want to say mind control,
But
but
it
it's like
really is.
it is. It's
Yeah.
like self mastery,
Mhm.
and then instead of like external programming
Yeah.
to just allow your body to follow, it's
Yeah.
like mastering your body and brain connection, and then having the medication to bridge you over
When
is like a perfect combination to get you back to your full human function.
We had a yoga class where she talked about that, like, you know, those long held poses that I do, like after we do sun A, sun B, the progressive
Mhm.
C, and then we'll hold like crescent
Yeah.
for a long time. And she had us hold it for like eternity. So, but
eternity long.
well, and what she had, why we do that is because our brain is like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do to protect this person from this pain? The pain is coming, it's coming. And so, and then you are like, oh my gosh, my leg's starting to burn, my other leg's shaking. Oh my gosh, I gotta kneel down. I gotta tap out. And I don't know why I'm getting so excited.
Because it's exciting.
But then you tap out because your brain is like, you gotta do whatever you gotta do to get out of here. We gotta avoid this right
This is
now.
dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous. And so she would walk around and kind of be like, just start breathing, notice the feel, you know, and then she walked us through it and kind of try to change our brain pattern, you know, to be able to cope with it. And then we would do the other side. And of course, now you're like, okay, we just did it on that side. We can do it on this side. So you're already automatically telling your brain, it's okay. We're cool. But
It's a lot of like inner parenting.
yeah.
Yes.
Like
That's a
handing off
great
the
word.
reins.
Yeah.
Because most of our parental archetypes in our minds are corrupted. All of us. And so there's a fracture in that through our lens of self, right?
Mhm.
So it's like replacing that with our higher, more adult and more parent self in each of those slots, little by little. But that is so hard for me because I still have like such a sweet actual father, who will pat my back. Like to me, what you said put me back at, this is kind of gross, but I had a lot of stomach issues growing up, which we all thought was medical, but looking back through a new lens, realized it was all anxiety and fear.
Yeah.
Literally making me sick to my stomach, and I was ignoring it. Anyway, but we didn't know that back then. But he would, I would always be like over the toilet, and I hated that feeling. But my dad's hand would always be there, and it was so warm, and like I just was able to get through it, you know. And that's so I always like feel that feeling whenever I have moments like that. It's like, but that's my hand, you know.
Exactly.
You can father yourself. You can mother yourself.
Yeah. And the mom's like holding my hair back, and I got my dad's hand, but they're both my mental hands. You know, it's like okay, I can like stretch to accommodate needing to hold myself this way for a second, while this part of me needs this feeling, and then this part of me experiences the discomfort of the thing. It's like this weird, like okay, and then yeah. Thank you for coming to my monologue.
And what you were saying about the yoga poses, the psychology is so similar to the cold water plunges and the idea.
I'm not doing it. I know
You're
you're
not
not
doing it. I'm not
You can
trying
do it
to
mentally.
push you.
You're doing it mentally.
Yeah.
But it's the, I mean, because there's so many things that can help. It can help anxiety. It can help pain. Like it's really changing how your brain reacts and teaching yourself that you can do hard things, even when you think you're about to die.
Yeah. And then when you do them, then you have that also in your toolbox. Like I've done some hard stuff. Like now I have something in my toolbox.
You've climbed Mount Vesuvius.
But I also went to that sketchy Airbnb, which was cute inside, all by myself, and got to the next location all by myself.
And you didn't die.
I didn't cold plunge, but I did that.
Would you rather have cold plunge than experience that?
That's a hard one. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe you should just decide. I'm just kidding.
5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it is interesting to think about, huh? Like the level of discomfort.
Oh yeah.
It's like the physical discomfort is the ice bath.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's getting to like feel it in the physical, but applying that same template mentally to things like, I don't know, all these things that are really challenging mentally.
Well, and it all ties back to our topic, right? Because lifelong learning, this is about learning what we can do.
Expanded.
Yes.
Physically.
I did have there was something about doing hard things too. I mean,
I think it's
it was
hard
alone
to.
here.
I think it's hard to expand your heart center. I'm learning to open it, and I feel like that's been core to. No pun intended, because it's like the core of your heart. But like that's been like the core of my journey. I don't know. Words are so weird now.
Words
After expanding
are
concepts. So
I don't know where it went. I lost it.
Yeah.
How did we lose the page?
I had it dog-eared, but then I lost it. Oh, doing hard things helps us improve, allowing us to become subject matter experts, depending on the subject. The body is similar. Our muscles grow when damaged. Muscle fibers require repair. The process hypertrophy is fueled by consistently pushing our boundaries.
Nice.
Lots of mic drops today. That wasn't mine. That was a quote from the article that I.
Well, and the interesting thing to me is you can do that throughout your young life, throughout your 20s, into your like retirement years. And there are people that I've watched be very focused on learning, focused on stretching, and then at some point they just stop. Yeah. And it's so quick that they become closed off and rigid and incapable of growth. And so for me, I'm constantly thinking about what causes that and how can I avoid that. And my husband and I talk about it all the time.
And did you come to an answer?
Yeah.
So what my husband and I tell each other is we're going to hold each other accountable and we're going to continue to actively look for things that stretch us because it's a choice.
Yeah.
That's what we've decided it is. It's a choice.
I feel like, I feel that way too. Like at some point, like, is it when you retire and you're like, I'm good. And then that's it. You just don't.
You park your lawn chair and you stop doing stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, and I don't know because so one of the times we had this discussion, we took an art class at the Sawney Art Center in downtown Cumming, and on the first day of class found out that it's really a retiree class. So like we were the youngest people in the room.
Oh, okay.
And it was a 6-week course, so we got to see the same people over and over again. And these retirees were very unique, artistic type personalities. And we'd go to class and then we go to dinner and we kept talking about like, what is it that has caused them to continue to go out and to learn when we're watching other people in the same age bracket not do that. And that's kind of where we landed on it's a choice and we just have to keep making the choice.
I love that.
That is true. Yeah, and there's some people, I do know some people who are just okay with being where they are. Mm-hmm. They're not trying
that's
to
a big one.
move forward.
Yeah.
They're okay with their job the way it is and they don't feel like they need and they're happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is really cool too. So it's not.
Yeah, I think that's the hinge, right? If you're happy doing what you're doing, then awesome. But if you're miserable doing what you're doing and you keep doing the same thing, then you're making the choice to be miserable.
Yeah, and not working your brain out, really, I guess, or whatever. But and maybe you don't need to at that point. Like, I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I've accepted that, and I've accepted that I also am allowed to stop comparing myself to people who are like my parents, like older than me.
Yeah, that's
like,
a big one. Yeah.
I don't have to do what. There's this thing where it's like you have to do what we did.
Yeah. Yes.
Right, and it's like I'm realizing that I'm the only one who thinks this, but also I'm accepting that I don't have to, or I could, and that's fine too. But I also like don't have to.
It's really hard to be that person in your family.
Yeah.
And I say that as a person that's that person in my family.
Yeah.
Like, it's the black sheep role, right?
Yeah.
You know, we hear about that archetype all the time. It's when you refuse to participate in this is what we always do, so this is what you should do.
Yeah.
People get real uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We have that just with watching him, and his parents really did. They did a bunch of stuff that worked out really well, and so it's fun to watch him want to do that. You know what I mean? But then he does branch off and do his own stuff too. But when we first got married, I think I might have even said it on the podcast, like watching him being influenced by his parents and you know, proud of that, and to watch him like, ooh, okay, they did it like this. I think I'm gonna do it like this. And it was so cool. Meanwhile, me, you know, always trying to be like, no, I'm gonna do it different, even though, you know, my parents did it a specific way and it worked fine for them. And now I'm skipping over to something else. But we had a whole conversation about that when we were in Italy. I forget who we were talking to about raising kids, and the grandparents coming and saying, you know, that's not how you do it.
Yeah.
And them being like, I know that's not how you did it, but this is working for us, and every kid is different. And, you know, it works out fine, but it does cause like kind of a little friction.
It was good enough for us. Why isn't it good enough for you?
Yeah. You're like, I'm fine. Look at me. I'm alive. I'm happy. You did great. Now let me do my.
Right. Now let me manage these kids. Well, and kids are really different. Like the things that they're experiencing much younger are very different, and they need to be raised in a way that works for the world that they're living in.
Yeah. And that I think, you know, coming inside the home, inside the family, you're not, that stuff's not what they're looking at right at the moment.
They're looking at, I'm uncomfortable because this is different than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Well, I think same night, we also talked about building a relationship with your kids and maintaining that relationship into their adulthood, and how in previous generations, there's been an expectation that grandma can just stay at her house and we will all come visit, you know, regularly. And how a lot of my family and a lot of other families in this generation have made the decision, like, I'm going to actively be involved in my kids' lives. I'm going to go and do the things they enjoy. I'm going to build commonalities. And I think that's very hard for, you know, when the grandparents are like, well, I went and visited my grandparents. Why can't you guys do it the way we did it?
Yeah, because it's different.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I always thought the word visit was so weird because it was like, what are we gonna do? Just like stare at each other?
Sit and look at each other.
And that is right. You just validated to me when I was like a young kid. That was always a family phrase, and it was like, why? It always felt like prickly to me when I heard we were gonna go visit, or like come visit, or you don't visit enough. And it's like, do you want to sit and visit? It's like, bro, what are we even? What's the verb? What's happening here?
Well,
what's the exchange?
This is visiting.
Why don't they just call it podcasting?
They should have unrecorded podcasting. They should have
turn
called
your
that.
microphone and be like, oh, that would be a good podcast to stick that on a table at a assisted living center.
But let's play that out, because the difference is like this. I agree, this is visiting, but the difference is like we didn't bring our kids and sit them in a corner and make them watch us visit.
Yeah,
Right. Well,
key.
and also, I think they think like the kids thinking back, maybe we were supposed to like join in the conversation.
I don't know about your family, but when you think timetable wise, kids weren't really supposed to be heard.
Right.
So it was, you bring them along, we saw them, they came to my house, everything's good, but nobody cared if they were having fun or not.
Oh my gosh, when you said that, the top of my like spine tingled with fire and like started to press down. That reminds me of that feeling of like, yeah, you're not supposed to be singing.
Oh my God, I can
Ooh, it feels
smell.
good. This oppression in the air.
Yes.
I'm
No.
just kidding.
They had a playroom for us, like the room that had all the old furniture
Mhm.
that we couldn't ruin enough. You know, it was just there.
Have at it.
But they had like whatever it was. I don't know if it was like old cigar smell. It smelled good. It was a good smell. It was like wood and maybe
Leather
cedar.
boots.
Like they had a cedar chest or something
Mahogany.
with all the old beat up games in it.
Oh,
And like wood
cool.
blocks and stuff, and we would go play. And it was kind of like, oh, these are stupid toys. But they had bugles.
Ooh.
Did you ever have bugles?
Are those
I mean,
the little
snap?
you stick them on your fingers.
Like,
yeah,
Everybody's like,
So I was like, all right, cool. We're
I'm
getting bugles.
So bad.
so this is a kid story, but we went visiting to some distant family member's house. I don't even remember who they were, but there was a room that was okay for the kids to play in, and there was like a chest with dress up stuff and a closet. Like it was like we were put in there, and it was the room where we could do whatever we
Well,
wanted.
that sounds amazing. Right?
Well, except we found some spray in the closet, and so we were playing, and I sprayed it on the table, and I wiped it because we were playing house and cleaning. And the woman who lived there came in, and I got in so much trouble because it was spray that you sprayed on your legs to remove your hair.
Oh
And
no!
so she was like, everybody in here is going to be bald.
That's funny.
You're like,
All the kids have like one eyebrow.
Right.
That's funny.
we were just cleaning.
We're just playing house.
Oh, that's cute. That's so
Gosh.
sweet.
I remember. So the house before this, we had a basement, and it was furnished, and the kids played. That's where they went, hung out, played video games, the whole 9 yards. They loved it down there. I didn't have that same, like, whenever I went over to my friend's house, they were like, go down to the basement. And I'm like,
You don't have to
go down to the basement. Why do we have to go down to the basement?
You don't like the basement?
I guess not. I mean, I don't know. It was just
We got like
weird.
what's the reverse of summit? Like we got like
Shunned.
Pushed away.
yeah, I wanted to say shunned, but it wasn't. It was just like that was the like dumping ground for us. We would rollerblade around in circles. It was
That's
not
cool.
finished, but we would like there was like a couch, so like the play pretend living room down there with a TV.
I would totally have rollerbladed and
We did.
spun around and sit and make the couch glide.
Oh, we did, and we played. Me and my stepsister did like choreographed dances that we would videoed to Celine Dion, and like they were really magical masterpieces of cinematic art.
My best friend and I used to do news radio.
Oh, I
We
love
would
that.
record it, yeah.
I would have been right there with you.
I had to reenact Grease with my sister.
Oh, that was one of my
We could do
favorites.
that right now.
I could do it now too. Let's ready.
I always had to be Danny Zuko.
Aw.
No way.
Whoever my sister wanted to be, that's who I was. And I was like,
I always had to be
she's
Danny
playing with me. I'm going to be okay with this. But I'd be like, oh.
Actually,
Okay.
oh wait, that is so funny that came up because like one of those things that was keeping me awake at some point, either in a meditation or trying to sleep last night or something, was like a feeling I need to transmute a memory. Like it's actually really deep for me right now. That it burns in my chest. That when my stepmom and dad got together, I was 5, I think, and my stepsister was like 3, or yeah. And so like our first Halloween together, we were about those ages. Or maybe the next Halloween. Anyway, I was like 6 in kindergarten. And I liked everything pink and Barbie, right? And glitter and still do. And except for Barbie. Not
I was like,
No, but pink.
The Barbie movie.
and glitter.
We can talk about that on another podcast episode. But
I have to watch it because I need to do my research on that.
I won't. I won't do any of it. I have so many. I guess I have a lot of feelings about it, so we should talk about it. But
Get the Halloween thing.
I'm getting to. I'm tapping about it because it's like I think I need to really transmute this feeling. It's like a core like envy thing and not accepting my reality, but like it's so unfair. My new mom wouldn't let me be the fucking pink Power Ranger. She let Autumn be the pink Power Ranger. But Autumn, here's the thing. Love you, sister. Autumn didn't give a shit. Like, Autumn was just like, where in the world? Don't care and not paying attention to you. Like, she was in her own universe, which is so I'm sort of jealous of because I wish I could have escaped to wherever she was. But she wasn't here a lot of the time, you know what I mean? But she was just like, okay, I'm pink. Like, and I was like,
but I want to be pink.
so she made me, I was forced to be the yellow one.
Why couldn't you both be the pink one?
That's the thought that kept me up out of my meditation or out of my focus out of sleep. No, thank you, but we're there.
You could have.
I was like, I'm going back rewriting the story that we compromised that we were both pink. But back in that time, you couldn't both be. Like, the culture didn't support sharing. It was very much hierarchical. Like, you're either Britney Spears or you're Alanis Morissette. You know what I mean? Like,
in kindergarten, I went to this school that had like this beat down wheelless car in the playground. And my entire kindergarten class would get in this car and we would play Dukes of Hazzard.
nice.
And there was one Bo and there was one Luke and there was like 20 daisies in the back.
I would have been one of those 20 being like, I'm in my white Jeep living my best life.
But I think there's a piece like, right, you want to rewrite the memory. But I also, like, one thing that I always keep on me at work is I come across bad leaders and it's an opportunity for me to learn what not to do. And so I think for this one, it's an opportunity for you when you have the chance to make those types of decisions to not repeat that.
Always be the pink Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Let everybody be the
You could have 17 pink Power Rangers.
And they could be male and female.
Yeah, we can just all do it.
Everybody can be whatever they
And
want.
that would have been a dope picture. But while we talk, I'll pull up because I have a receipt for this. I have a picture of us.
I can't wait to see it.
It's on my Instagram.
And while you bring that up, I'm going to tell a story about when we went to Disney World, and there was a family of like 6, parents, a grandparent, the kids, and everyone was a Power Ranger. And they weren't fully dressed, but they had like the pink, the mom was the pink Power Ranger, let's say that. So she had a pink t-shirt on, and their faces were painted pink Power Ranger or Power Ranger.
Cool.
And they went around the whole thing like that. And I'm like, I just want to follow them around.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, look at her.
Look how pissed I look.
You were
Look how
pissed
pissed she
didn't
looked.
care.
She doesn't give a shit.
She's like, can
But
we
she
just
would
go
take
get
it
the
anyway.
candy?
Yeah.
Because my stepmom was creating that drama energy, but Autumn was just like an innocent passenger, but she was still party to the sabotage of the pink part. I'm like, so I'm really holding on to this. But isn't she cute?
She is cute.
I love her so much. I'm still upset, but it's not her fault. You know what I'm saying? It's no one's fault.
It's your mom's fault.
It is, but it's therapy.
But that's
So
okay.
they're not.
She missed the boat on
She
that
is
one.
so
It's
cute.
okay.
She literally did not care. And I'm just like,
Can we go get the candy now?
And
please?
when I was in Mexico, I had a shaman actually do my biomagnetism reading, and she told me this was when I was 7. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, that's where it started. That's where the fire started. She was like, you are fire. When you were 7, you made a decision that you are a fighter, and you fought everything, including yourself, from that moment on. And I was like,
So
ouch!
the pink
But
Power
yeah, it
Ranger.
all started here with this pink
Power Ranger.
yellow debacle. But I feel good about it now because we both, in my memory, I'm gonna go back and Photoshop this that I was the pink one, and so the
Take the
internet
faces.
is nice.
Face swap.
Yeah,
Isn't that what that thing's called?
yeah. We can just. It really was that we were both the pink ones.
Yeah, I can help you out.
Yeah.
So on lifelong learning,
Yes. Okay.
when we were in Italy, there was a running bidet conversation because
Mm,
every
love a
hotel
bidet.
we had a bidet, and I'm a fan. My husband and my son don't quite understand why it's so amazing.
I had one in my condo. That's
They're
part of when
amazing.
I had to leave and come back.
Oh.
I was like devastated. I was like, my plants, my
Yeah.
bidet, like my whole lifestyle.
So today, an Instagram thing popped up, and it was a man describing the benefits of the bidet and like fully clothed, but he was demonstrating how you would use it.
Right.
So great. And so I copied the link and I sent it to my husband and my son. And my husband does not even know that we're talking about lifelong learning. But his response, I feel educated now.
Oh my God. He's like always
He's in tune.
on there. Yeah. Connected. That's because he's a lifelong learner.
He is a lifelong learner. He absolutely is.
You feel like that's a good place?
Probably.
We didn't do our dad jokes.
Oh, our dad jokes.
Or whatever we're calling them. I'm
Yeah.
calling them a dad joke. But I have, yeah. Let me see. All right, we're going to end on the joke. I looked at you this time and not the microphone.
I like our table. I think it looks.
The round table.
Yeah, it worked.
It looks like we're on the set of The Office or in an actual office.
We are the office.
We are the office.
The yoga office. Yoga and other shit office.
This is the other shit.
This is some of the other shit. There's a lot of other shit.
Okay, I've got one. What did the horse say after it tripped?
What?
Help! I've fallen and I can't giddy up.
I love that. That's cute.
All right, I gotta find my guy. Stepdaddy jokes. There we go. Well, it's gonna. He is, but
that's a thread.
why can't a nose be 12 inches long? It's probably gonna be gross.
Yeah.
I think you went onto a weird thread.
Because then it would be a foot.
That was pretty
Wait,
funny.
what was the joke again?
Why can't a nose be 12 inches long?
Oh,
Because then it would be a foot.
right, exactly. I wasn't ready. That's
That
good.
was a good one. I was worried what direction we were going.
Me
To
too.
work down.
Down to the ground is a foot.
Because they get a little. Those guys can get a little raunch.
Right, to walk the wild line.
Like there's one about Wednesday being hump day. And did I tell you that one?
No.
It already has the D. You're already getting the D,
I like that.
or however you said. There, I said it. You're already getting the D. Anyway,
Listener.
by one
viewer.
singular listener. Hopefully, there's
It's
a
a
few.
viewer.
Oh, a view. Oh, yeah. Viewer. I've had this shirt on.
All day.
I love that shirt.
I do
in
too.
the
It's-
astral realm, I have 4 of them in different colors.
Ooh.
But that's in my
You have to-
imagination. I gotta make them physical, which I'm working on.
There's got to be something there. We can manifest it.
Yeah.
All right.
Just order
Can-
some or whatever.
Can I do it? On Amazon.
Yeah.
Just go to Amazon. Okay, guys. We love you.